Good morning, folks. I'm back out here at Dad's shop. And a few weeks ago when we posted the video of this old smoky monitor pump jack engine, I said to leave a comment if you'd like to see us make a video of, we're going to build a new cart for it that will have the engine and the pump and everything all mounted together on one cart. And if you thought that we should put rings in it. It just smokes like crazy, and almost everyone in the comments said they'd like to see us put rings in it, and several people said they'd like to see us build a cart. So I think today what we're going to do is start this process. We're going to get the engine unbolted and pulled off of that cart. Just set it on this little, oh geez, maybe I'll oil the wheels on that. Good God, yeah, I'll oil the wheels on that. We're going to pick it up with the engine hoist, set it down on that so that we can still move the engine around, and we're going to get the cart moved up here on the welding table where Dad can start working on building the cart. Once we get the engine off the cart and set on that little red dolly, then I think we're going to go ahead and pull the cylinder off. I'm pretty sure the whole cylinder will come off with just those two bolts, and I don't think we even need to disconnect the rod right at this point. We can get in there, see what the rings look like, and I'm gonna have to get some rings ordered for it, which means I'm gonna have to get a hold of Flywheel Supply and talk to the people there. I don't know if they'll already know the specs and have rings for it, or if we're gonna have to measure them and have custom rings made for them, but I'll figure that out once I get to that point. So for right now, we're gonna get that engine unbolted off the cart, setting on that little red cart, and we're going to get the cart that the engine's on now up on the welding table over there where Dad can start rebuilding that. Furnace got to come on because for some reason eastern Iowa decided winter's here, and it's 7 degrees outside. We got snow on the ground now. Yeah, that actually is not too bad. Just the wheels actually spin decent, just the casters don't cast very well. This one looks like it's been underwater or something, full of mud. I'm sure that helps. They're supposed to sound crunchy like that when you turn them. That means they're working well. And there should be chunks of dirt falling out of it as it turns too. There we go, that's got to be better than it was. First things first, got to see if we can get these bolts out of here. Obviously when we put it on here, we weren't oh, that's not even tight. Weren't planning on this being a permanent setup. We were just getting it so we could move it around. So we just bolted this old 2x10 or whatever it is to the top of this running gear. I bought this running gear at an auction from one of the old boys here in town, and he sold out a bunch of his stuff. This poor thing, when we get up on the table, I'll get a closer shot at it, but all the wheels are broken and welded back together. It's had a rough life, it looks like.
Yeah, they're not very substantially fastened.
That one was tight enough that I don't think I could have got it loose with my fingers. Yeah, this one I didn't even put the ratchet on. So there's one of them that was snug enough that I maybe couldn't have just got it broke loose with my fingers. We're gonna get the engine hoist over here, pick this thing up, I got a we got a little piece of angle iron here cut that we can drop down inside the hopper, and then we can wrap a chain around it in there and use that to pick it up, so it should pick straight up and not be so tipsy.
Might want to put the chain down in there first.
Yeah, I already got the thing in there, so I'll see if I can. Go like that. Okay, you want to be the jack man, and I'll try to keep all this stuff straightened up until it gets some tension on it. Alright, go up with it a little bit. I had it bolted down finger tight with 4/4 inch bolts. That should have been more than sufficient.
Substantial.
There we go. Oh, flip that lever up. It's already getting hooked on stuff. Yeah, it's probably close enough.
Why was it hitting over there?
No, it isn't. It's not touching.
Okay.
Oh, come down more. There we go. Alright. Got the engine setting down there now. Let's get the cart moved over here. Picked up and put on the table where Dad can work on it. That's a nice piece we got built there too. We should hang on to that for something. Let's see, I need to get, maybe I can use this. See, I told you I'd come in handy for something.
That's what the cavemen used to use.
Okay. At least we got water all over this now from draining the little drip of water that's in the hopper. Alright, hold on a second. We got 4011 things in the way. Now this is stuck to that.
Not my new brush.
Yeah, your brand new brush is down here on the ground. You're standing right in front of the camera so nobody can see anything we're doing.
There you go. Oh, I still didn't there.
Alright. I think I want to put this out so it's not underneath of there. Good thing we got all these lanterns and irons setting right in the way here.
Oh,
And flip out over that way. I'll get the camera over here and get a little closer shot of this thing.
they're okay. It's a really been curving.
Yeah, this poor old cart has got, there's one weld across there that's almost completely broken again. One there. One there. One there. One there. And that's back to the one that started on. This one's got one. No, it's only got one, but it's got some chunks missing out of it. This one. That one actually looks decent. That one's got one weld going across there, big chunk, big weld. So I don't know, this might be a good candidate just to put some of the other wheels we got on, because these poor old things are not in great shape. That would be better to put on something just to have for decoration sitting outside. Put some of the wheels we got that aren't busted 75 times on here, but other than that, it really is a
Nice running.
pretty nice running gear. I bought it at an auction, one of the old timers here in town when he was selling off everything, and it's got the original brackets down here, and surprisingly all those parts are good shape. They've not been busted and welded back up. Just those poor old wheels have been beat hard. So I think
The steering is nice too.
yeah, it's got a really nice
Cradle.
steering setup on it. That's why I bought it. I'm pretty sure, I think I paid $75 for it because there was somebody else there at the auction thought they wanted it too, and I was too stubborn to let them get it. So that's not a bad price, but that was a lot of money in the probably 99 or 2000 when I bought it. That was a fair amount for just a kart running gear. I don't even think it had a board on it. I think it was just the wheels. Maybe it had an old set of skids on it or something. I can't even remember, but I am pretty sure I paid $75 for it. And it's worth it. It's worth it just for that steering piece. If you had nothing else, it'd be worth that now, but that was a fair amount back then. So yeah, Dad's gonna rebuild this cart. So once we get some work done on the cart and some more information about what we're gonna end up doing with the rings on this, we'll make a part 2 to this video, and then maybe we'll end up even still having a part 3 when the new rings are, after we install the new rings and the new cart's all done, putting it all back together and firing it up. But for right now, I'm gonna drag my tripod over here and we're gonna try to unbolt the cylinder off of this and look and see what kind of shape the rings are in on this poor old smoky old motor. Well, in order to get this off of here, I'm gonna have to pull my fuel line off. I'm gonna have to see what else. Maybe that's about it. Take the fuel line off.
And that tank.
No, the tank is separate from the cylinder head. It bolts onto the block.
Oh, okay.
So if we pull the fuel line off of there, this all will come off in one piece. I don't know if this, that's not very tight. No.
Well,
Oh, there we go. Take that out of there and just get that out of the way. Boy, I got my hands greasy in a hurry. That's
I'll get your rag.
That's-
right here.
good old black grease. It'll take about a week to wear off. You know, we'll just wash it off of there.
That rag's as dirty as the hands are.
Yeah, yeah. Dad found me a rag to use to wipe my hands. That's fine. They're gonna get greasier screwing around with this. I'll wash them when we're done. Well, I think I just need a straight screwdriver to take that fuel line off, and then I don't think anything else needs to come off of there to get the cylinder head off, except for the 2 bolts that bolt the cylinder head to the, I guess I shouldn't call it a cylinder head, bolt the whole cylinder. There is no separate head. It's all one piece. The cylinder and water hopper are all one piece. Well, I don't know if we could get a wrench on here and swing that, that would move out of the way, and then I don't need to take that clear out of there. I don't know if that'll turn or not, though. I don't believe we've had that out of there, but well, you know what? That's already loose. Maybe we should just loosen up the one bolt here that holds the fuel tank on and just get it out of the way. Oh, well, that was finger tight too. Apparently finger tight's good enough on this thing. We don't really need to tighten stuff up much, apparently. Yeah, there. Apparently finger tight's tight enough that it won't let it come off. There we go. Get that out of the way. Set it over here. Probably get tipped over. dump all the gas out on the floor. There we go. I'll thread this bolt back in there so we don't lose it. Is that? No, those are, I see what's going on there. You can't fit a box-in wrench on there because the
Nope.
bolt is
I don't have an inch.
right against the sides there. May have to use an adjustable wrench on that. They're probably just finger tight anyway.
Got an inch and an eighth there that may work.
Is that? That would be better if it is the right size. No, that's much bigger. We'll try this. Okay, let me look again, but I don't see anything else on here. This whole valve assembly and everything will all come off in one piece. There's nothing else holding or needs to be disconnected from the cylinder and head assembly to get it off from the crankcase. That seems like it is tighter than finger tight, which it should be. Let's get a hammer to tap on that with. Wow. Well, that certainly is not finger tight. That's not wanting to move very badly. Sure, that's good for the adjustable wrench. All right, this is going to require a little bit of heat. Get in here and heat this up good and see if we can get that to come loose. Trying to keep the heat mostly on the nut more than anything else. We'll see what that does. That one came loose. All right, let's move around the other side and do the same thing all over again. It stinks. Well, that's gonna be right in the way. Yep, it's turning. Just needed warmed up a little bit. Now I gotta remember not to grab that nut when I take it off of there.
Let it turn over your fingers.
I've done that before. Heated up a nut with the torch, took it off, and it fell on the bench, and I picked it right up and said, shucks, that's warm. This one probably seized back up when it cooled down. Nope, it's still turning too. Okay, I think I'm gonna get a pair of channel locks and spin that the rest of the way off there. Channel locks, so I can get a grip on it when it comes to the end of the threads. They're turning nice and easy now. Watch out, engine hoist is right behind me. Nut's still getting hot. I dropped it in that puddle of water on the floor and it's boiling away. So it's nice and warm still. Yeah, they weren't real worried about leaving a lot of extra clearance in there. I guess they probably didn't figure this was going to be taken apart very often. Maybe when it's about 100 years old and smoking like crazy, somebody finally have to take it apart. Yeah, that one still sizzled a little bit when I dropped it in the puddle there. I would imagine that's going to be a bit tight on there. There's not a great place to really get in there anywhere. Let's see. See if I can use this plastic hammer kind of as a spacer in between there. Tap a little bit. Yep, it's moving. I'm sure the camera couldn't see it, but right there at that crack, it was spreading apart. That was easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's loose. Pull it off the piston.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit tricky. Let's open this up and see if the piston's up or down right now. The piston is That's bottom dead center, so it was almost all the way down. Now I've got to pick that up off of there.
Use the engine hoist.
If we need to, we'll get the engine hoist on it, but I think it probably ought to just come up off of there without too much force. Figure out where I want to
It might be hot.
get a hold over that.
Well, that was pretty simple.
There we go. Set that off to the side. Let's get the camera in here a little bit closer and we'll crank that over and bring the piston up to the top here.
That second ring and stuff.
It could be.
In there, unless you take it off the rod and put it in there.
Yeah, we might have to. Okay, let's move this off to the side a little bit more. Crank it
No, it's
up.
stuck.
Yeah, all the rings are moving.
Yeah.
So the rings were not stuck on the piston. But man, it's an oily, sloppy mess. But we did put a lot of Marvel Mystery Oil, different penetrating oil and stuff in there because we didn't know if the rings were stuck. Also, which I'm definitely not an expert on this, but two of the rings on this side, those are awfully close to being lined up. I'm pretty sure they want those rings to be
Usually you stagger them.
staggered from each other, and those two are awfully close to being lined up. And then one on this side over here, the bottom ring, which I think typically the bottom ring would be the oil ring, but these all three look exactly the same. So obviously in 1920 it probably wasn't as big a deal. But yeah, the bottom ring's about almost a half a turn off from the other two, but the other two are pretty darn close to being lined up. Well, I got the cylinder. It's pretty neat actually. The whole cylinder, head, intake, exhaust is all one casting. The inside of the cylinder, I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but it feels pretty good. We used to have a cylinder hone out here somewhere. I don't know if we still do around here somewhere. We could give the cylinder a quick honing, but I'm going to get a hold of Flywheel Supply, talk to them. I know online it says that they make rings, so if they don't already know the dimensions of the rings that I need, then I can measure these rings and they will make a set of rings for it. But I'm going to have to talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about to explain to me exactly how to measure the rings, because I've never done anything like that before. And then I'll probably have to go buy a caliper somewhere that's good enough to measure it to see exactly what we need. But for right now, we got the engine apart. We roll that off to the side. I can set the cylinder back off to the side. I'll get a hold of the people at Flywheel Supply that know what they're talking about and ask them exactly what I need to do with these rings and what I need to measure, and we'll get a new set of rings coming. And then once we get the new rings here and ready to install them, and once Dad's got some updates on the cart, we'll make a part 2 to this video showing the progress on the cart and installing the new rings and putting that back together. And then eventually in a few more weeks after that, we'll maybe have a part 3 to this video of putting the engine back on the cart and fire it up, see if we can make this old girl run again. Leave the video a comment. Tell me if you know anything about replacing rings in these motors, because I've never done it before. This is my first time. So if you know how I'm supposed to measure these rings, leave it down in the comments. Give the video a like. Share the video with someone. And if you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Come on back next week. We'll have a video or something here for you to watch. Thanks for watching, folks.